up a bit. G'day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Friday FTX scan brought to you by FTX and TRADERCOBB.com. My name is Craig Cobb. And I love doing these. You know, getting to go through and doing a full scan of all the FTX perp contracts is something I do several times a day, and FTX is the platform of choice for me, given the easy order systems and good access to margin, which I desire. So if you'd like to get 10% off of your trading fees with FTX, please do visit the description below you here, or below me, and join up for your account there. And yes, a big hello to you all. We're going to go through today and have a look at just what occurred overnight. We obviously saw the market come off heavily, and we need to discuss some of the points and what we see as being opportunity, all the options for the price moving forward. First things first, yesterday and the day before. All right, so the day before yesterday, Twitter was lit up with bulls saying, "I told you so, we're going higher," and all of these lovely sorts of bullish sentiment type things. Of course, that didn't last very long. Now, let me show this to you on the 12-hour here on Bitcoin. We did have a higher low, we did have a higher high, but we didn't have too much follow through. As a matter of fact, I spoke of it to my community members in a video, or maybe it was a podcast. I can't remember. I did a fair bit of content yesterday. That things could turn very, very quickly. All we had was one singular up day, and that is not enough for us to get bullish. Well, not in my opinion anyway. Whilst it was nice to see the portfolio go up, wasn't it a big dip yesterday, down nearly 8%? And at one stage, let's have a look at just how far down we were at one stage. 10.5%, that is a big move indeed. What's it done to the weekly chart? Well, whilst we still have the higher low here and the higher high here, we have pulled back significantly from that 48,000 mark. Let's have a look. We have now pulled back over 25% to the lows. G'day, Jeffrey, Daniel, and to everybody out there. Please do hit the like button. I would appreciate that. It helps us. And this, we are now facing, thus far, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 week in the red. Now, we do hear a lot of people talk about the market being bullish, bearish. Are we in a bear market? Are we in a bull market? Well, right now, we're just in a bit of a confused market, in my opinion. The shot up that we have had happened rather quickly. The drawback down has taken a lot longer. You know, we saw essentially 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. Most of it happening over 2 weeks, though. This time 6 weeks on the slide. And counting. We've still got further downside potentially available to us before this weekly candle closes. And whilst I look at this chart, we do still see 30,000 or 29-ish as the next level of support. Do I think we can get there? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, why not? The momentum's to the downside. Every time we see the market pushing higher, we see it ripped back lower. And we are also seeing some pretty critical things occurring around the world in the financial markets, with interest rates being raised in both America. I believe they raised them in America, or about to, and they also raised them here in Australia. And that does send shockwaves through the market at times. Of course, we have somewhat of a war going on over there in the Ukraine. How much that affects the markets, I really don't know, especially in crypto. But there's a lot going on in the global, the global financial environment, really. So, yeah, I mean, when we see a day up 5.24% and followed the next day by down 8%, the volatility is certainly there. We haven't had it for a little while either. You'll note lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, then we went up again. It's just not giving us too much on Bitcoin. And whilst Bitcoin has held its ground better than others, it obviously had a very big decline yesterday. So now what I want to do is I want to go across to my FTX perp list here and just show you what we've got available, because it was a bit sad yesterday, to be fair. When I woke up this morning and saw this giant red candle, I was a bit disappointed. And the reason that I was disappointed was I was kind of hopeful that we'd get some small bearish candles on the daily charts. The reason I wanted those small bearish candles on the daily charts was so that I could take advantage of going short in what is a declining market. And while Bitcoin's not as obvious in the downtrend, whilst it still is in a downtrend, there are some much better trends out there that have offered us good daily downtrends. As you can see with 1 inch, we've pulled back into the cradle zone now on that daily chart. Any other time frame right now on 1 inch is more or less up. When we go to the 4 hour, which is my next favorite time frame for trend, we've got ourselves in an uptrend. Is there any interest here on 1 inch for me to trade? Not at all. I focus on trading trends, and therefore I'm looking for good trends to be following. And whilst we did see some of these markets put in a higher low and higher high on the 4 hour, we've now since seen that reverse, and a chart like this does not give me any structure. It doesn't give me a great deal to work with, so I go past it. Cardano. Oh, what a sad day for Cardano holders. We went from 16.5% up, woohoo, to 12.3% down, almost wiping out all of the move from the previous day in what can only be called a brutal push lower. There's nothing of interest there on Cardano either. Good afternoon, Caroline. And sorry, guys, I know that normally my Friday scan is at 12. I had my youngest daughter's assembly performance today, and I wasn't missing that for the world, so I had to push it to 2 o'clock. All right, Adventure Gold, very sideways, of no interest to me at all. On ACLX, we can see again the pop up and the sell off. Do I have a 4 hour downtrend? No, I go high to low, nothing for me to work with. I'm looking for good cyclicity that I can trade with. Good, strong trends, nothing on Algo, nothing on Alice, onto Alpha. Again, we go high to a pullback. There's not much there to work with. And also, just another note, a big bearish candle on the daily, so I can't short that. It's too large. Based on my trading rules, alt perp, no good there, no trend. What we're going to need to see is further downside to get these trends back into play so I can actually start to make money from a falling market. And yes, I know, because I trade, I can make money in a falling market. I'm going to be doing a presentation in Adelaide on the 14th of May. And it's going to be around, how people make money in crypto. And of course, we've seen the explosion of NFTs this year, making a lot of people a lot of money. We've seen some alts do really well also. The thing is, though, is what happens, like, you can only make money when the market's going up. When we're not in a bullish market, we're not in an uptrending market, how do you make your money? Well, arguably people would say, well, you buy at those times. True, but you're still going to have to wait. Trading gives you that instant cash flow if, and when you've put the effort in, and it's not for everybody, I will say that. You put the effort in, you can make money when the markets fall, and you can do very, very well. Okay, Anchor Perpetual. Well, it doesn't seem to be too messed around by the downward momentum. We've got an uptrend here. Well, not the greatest of pullbacks, but you'll see it clearly on the 2 here. A pullback into this cradle zone could represent opportunity for me later on today, so I'm going to go ahead and make this one, let's go a little blue list. So if this pulls back into this $2 mark, that'll be the prime level for me. A nice round number, a nice clean pullback, and it looks like a 61.8% fib level. Thereabouts. Just a little bit below there. But either way, a pullback in here to the upside on Anchor. So that's going to make the list. Again, the reason being, there's a trend. I'll have a quick look at Ape on the lower here, see if there's any levels. There's nothing there of interest at all. And again, we go high to low. There is no trend. And I think that's going to be a theme across the scan today, as we did see, of course, the big move higher, not yesterday, the day before, and then today closing significantly lower. It does close the door on a number of options, like a number of the trends that were in place. Like, we had beautiful downtrends with cradles in the zone moving away and for quite some time, and then we got sideways, popped up, back down. It's just making it a little bit more messy and unpredictable. Too thin on ASD. Atlas, not doing a great deal, still fairly flat. Atom Perp. Well, we can clearly see the level of support through here. There it is. Is there the possibility? At this stage, I would say no. But with any flat level, if we can get this breaking down through the lows there, we do have a little lower high here potentially. If we break down through the low here and through this support level, we may actually, we'll then have a downtrend. Then I can start to look for pullbacks into that 1723 level. For now, though, it won't make the list because it's still a long way from doing that. When I look at audio, I see yesterday's big candle, and it does scare me away. Again, a little pullback here. We need to set new lows to get that 4-hour trend back in play. AVAX really has nothing of interest there after having a screamer of a day 2 days ago. We sold off heavily yesterday, wiping out those gains. And again, you can see what I'm looking for, like what I was hoping for today was something like this, but over here, obviously we didn't get that. We got a massive bearish candle, not a small one. One thing that might be here, No. Just saying if there might have been a little flat level in there. For those of you who have done the TRADERCOBB Become a Master course, that's the sort of thing we're looking for a breakout. Nothing on Axie, nothing on Badger. Balance's trend is still unchanged. Higher low, higher high, pullback. It's a deep pullback and there's nothing to trade there, but that trend remains in play. There is, unfortunately, as I say, no opportunity to trade as this pullback was far too deep. I wanted it to come into this region and give me that candle right there. Band, again, we go high to low. It's not something that I like to trade. Too thin there on Bayo for the time being. With BAT, again, not too much there really to work with. We are going to need to see this trend we're going to need to see the market dip further to get those trends back into play. For the time being, it's just going to have to be a bit of a patient period, a bit of a waiting game. And if we do have any established trends that have not been upset by the past couple of days of movement higher than lower, then we can trade those types of markets. As you can see here on Boba, sorry. Have a look. 8-hour cradle in the zone. Very good short. Money to be made. Now, I didn't have that in my list yesterday. I did discuss it, but the reason for me not looking for a trade here was just because how thin this market trades. If I trade a market like Boba and I can see the candles looking like this, very spiky and not a lot going on, it just looks a little bit funky, that to me tells me that the market is too thin for me to trade. Sure, whilst the move occurred and would have been extraordinarily profitable for me, if it had have gone the other way, I would get slippage on my way out. So my stop loss, let's say my stop loss was at 92 cents, I probably would not have got the fill at 92 cents because I would have had a large enough position to have to get filled further up the book. In that case, I end up losing more on the position than I had set out to achieve. And for me at the moment, it's more about managing the risk than hunting for the profits. So that's why it was left. But a clean pullback. Onto BSV, still again in a very messy sideways range. And sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, you might not want to hear it, but the best thing to do is not to trade. And it looks like today may be, or is shaping up to be anyway, one of those sorts of days. C98, nothing to work with. Cake, still sideways. I'm not interested in a market like this. I want a trend. Cello, also very average looking chart there. Celsius, very thin and completely sideways. Chromia, again, you look at this daily, it's a little bit all over the shop. It needs to take out these lows, create a lower high here and get that trend back in motion. It's not doing it at this stage. It's not ready for me. Chile is the same thing, needs to dip lower first. Unfortunate for us, but there was a big candle there. Another one where I would have liked to have seen a small bearish candle. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. Clover, again, not much to really speak of there. Compound, you can see the support is still there. Again, if we break down through there, a pullback into that region would be something that I would be interested in. Let's have a quick look at the two. Yeah, again, it's not going to feature in the watch list because with price still up here, we've still got a lot of work to do to get down through this support and then get the moving averages down there and then pull back up into this level and then give me a bearish candle. It's not something that's likely to occur on the 4-hour time frame in the next few hours, so it's not going to make it's not going to make the watch list. Cream. I'm growling. Why am I growling? The level, is it there? Is it good enough? Little bees dig break there. Look, this could become something. I would want to see it come up from here, give another lower high and get back down. But in the case that it does that, there could be a potential breakout available. Now, again, if you don't know what the breakout strategy is, go onto the course. Easy peasy. A second to that, if we do break down, a pullback into there would be worthwhile. And because we are looking at the lower time frame, like the 30-minute here, it could actually set up within the afternoon. So that will feature in my list. Crow. Right. Beautiful 8-hour cradle right there. Look, what time was that? 6 last night. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, pullback. I was doing an interview at that time for the TRADERCOBB Crypto podcast. Go and listen. It's not up just yet, but there is a podcast there, and there's podcasts 5 days a week. But yeah, that little bearish candle on the 8-hour cradle zone with this beautiful downtrend, that was a profit right there. It's gone now, of course. Hopefully, some of you guys got that. Oh, excuse me. CRV. Geez, it's been volatile, hasn't it? There's not a great deal for me to do there with relation to, or with regards, I should say, to the cyclicity. So the trend is not strong enough for me at the moment. Let's go lower again here on Civic. So we've broken that support. We're building into this support level. It's a 30-minute chart for a breakout potentially available. Also possibly boosters or cradles later on. Of course, the cradle is probably what most of you know, but there are other options that could come about. So that will remain in my watch list for the next couple of hours. On to CVX, nothing there. Very sideways, needs to take out these lows before I've got any interest at all. Dash had a little support level there. It is now since no longer worthy, and it comes out of my watch list because it's not really got a trend. Dawn is a mess with big spikes. Again, looking likely to be a little bit thin. DeFi, another case of high to low, which means I can move straight away past that. And as you can see, I mean, I'm commentating as I go with this. If I wasn't commentating, I'd be flying through this list, because if you see a chart that looks like Dent right here, we go high to low. There's no cyclicity. There's no trend. It's a big, messy, yucky looking thing. We're in a very volatile period of time right now. And until those trends start to play out better and give me some consistency, it's going to be reduced risk or no trading at all, just simply because of the nature of the market. You've got to know when to stay out. You know, there's periods in which you can make really good money, and there's periods in which you won't. At the moment, you know, your 80% of your profits coming from 20% of your trades. Are the 20% style trades here at the moment? Not in my eyes. That doesn't mean it won't change. I mean, obviously, we saw over the last couple of days, Bitcoin and the greater market up, you know, a lot of them in double digits, you know, over 10%. And then, of course, you know, 24 hours later, nearly everything's down double digits. So things can change very, very quickly in crypto. That's why there's never a problem to just step back a little bit and just give it some time until you get what you're looking for. Engine, believe it or not, yesterday I was actually looking at the potential for a long. Pullback into this region was what I was after for a little cradle. Didn't get it, so I'll take that level out. I'll also take that level out. And then I will finally end up taking it out of my watch list, because we go from high to low. It does not qualify, as there is no trend there on the 4 hour. That's a wild old day, isn't it? What did that do? That was at one stage, Ethereum name thing. It was up 13%. From that high of the day at $25, we closed 25% lower. This is an incredibly volatile crypto right now. Too deep for the 12 and a clear lower high, so that won't work. I'm just looking at this as the daily for a cradle here. Well, of course, it needs to go and close tomorrow, and we want to keep that small. We've got a couple of pullbacks, a higher low clearly there, a couple of little glitches, little pullbacks, but a beautiful bullish candle there. So I'm going to go to the 2-day now and see, do I actually have an uptrend? Well, yeah, there's a little bit of a pullback there. Not very clear, I've got to be honest. However, we do have high to high here. So naturally, I can say, well, there's a higher low and a higher high. So yeah, we've got a 2-day uptrend. Do we have a weekly uptrend? We sure do. The daily, therefore, this little bullish candle, if it closes like that, a decision would need to be made. That will be tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. That will go in the list. EOS sideways and fairly flat. Ethereum Classic. I'm looking forward to jumping on board your community. Oh, great, Marnie. Well, we look forward to having you in there, mate. Look forward to that. Ethereum Classic, another real shame on yesterday, to be honest, guys. A beautiful downtrend. I've made some money throughout this move so far. It's really hopeful to see a small bearish candle in here. We just didn't get it. It just got absolutely obliterated. After, of course, having a good run to start the day, we went boof, straight back down in one fell swoop over one 4-hour candle that closed down 10.74%. Ethereum very much in the same kettle of fish there. If we're going to move lower, let's get it done. Let's rip the Band-Aid off and let's get some trends in play, because Ethereum right now, it's very muddled. Sure, We still do have lower highs coming through here with a lower low, but we can't really call that good cyclicity. It's a bit messy through here with huge volatility. Ethereum for me at the moment is another one where I'm just going to have to sit back, watch and wait. If we go ahead now and look at the weekly on Ethereum as well, it's very similar to that of Bitcoin, except for it's been 5 weeks, not 6 weeks of downward momentum. Down 9% on the 4th of April. On the 11th of April, down 6.7, then down 2.2 on the 18th. On the 25th, down 3.3%, and so far this week we're down 3.17. So we do still have a higher low and a higher high, but I would like to see it either rip the band-aid off and move lower and get this bear market really ripping, so we can start to make more consistent gains to the downside, or sort itself out and create a higher low on the weekly. For the time being, though, with regards to Ethereum, I'm just not seeing anything tradable at this moment in time. A very messy chart over the last couple of weeks. Onto exchange perp, which copped an absolute beating yesterday, down 6.9%. Nothing there again because we go high to low. Keep it consistent, keep it simple, and keep repeating the same process through each chart. Don't think about things. Just follow the rules. Follow the trend. Nothing there on file perp. Flamingo, wild again, and there's no interest there for me. Flow, we go up a day, we go down a day, and now we're slow. Again, nothing there for me to work with. Phantom, another one that I was kind of hopeful to see a bearish candle on, which I did get. It's just too big. A small bearish candle up in here might have represented an opportunity for today, but unfortunately, it's already gone. FTT taking a bit of a hit yesterday, 8.44%, kind of falling to the lowest point it has done for the last couple of months. There is a downtrend here on the daily, and it has actually broken these lows quite well. Is there anything to trade right now? Well, the 4-hour, yeah, there's a lower high there, but it is definitely not a very cyclical trend. We'll go a little bit lower here, and you can see it all happened in one go, and since then we've been very slow and sideways. So nothing there on FTT. FXS, that's hard to say. Again, no real trend to work with. Gala, no real trend to work with. Moonbeam, no real trend to work with. A good step down here on GMT, but again, I will say there's not the greatest of trend. A pullback into $3, look, maybe, but it's got to stop faffing around and it's got to start pulling back. Maybe later tonight. It's not going to make the list, though. There's not quite enough there for me to sink my teeth into. Same with GRT. Not a great deal going on there. Hedera. Just seeing if there was a level. There is not, which rules it out for me. Another one with a big candle. Nearly everything will see a big candle. Another shame. A bearish candle here would have been something that I would have been interested in yesterday. At one stage, I was looking for a potential long position here. And again, it was coming back down to the 2-hour and 1 hour as we had a higher low, broke the resistance and had a nice little pullback point with some fib there for our 2-hour cradle. Of course, the cradle did not set up, therefore there was no orders raised, therefore there was no losses made. But it reversed that trend very, very quickly. Still, today, is there anything worthwhile me trading? No. The daily is too big, the 4-hour has no trend. Holy in a very similar position. Hot, no real trend there either. Horby has been an absolute mess. It's stuck in a range for quite some time. And it is certainly a market that I have absolutely zero interest in right now while it's caught in this sideways momentum. Or lack of momentum. Hump, nothing there. Trend worthy. Internet computer, again, we had an uptrend. Now we don't have any trend. So it comes out of my list. ICX. Again, nothing to work with there. IMX, Immutable X. No real trend. It's a shame again because we were getting these higher lows and higher highs. We did have some stuff to look at yesterday, but yeah, overnight, that giant big sell-off candles kind of ruined most of these charts. And because we've not really had too much movement today, as you can see across this dashboard, because there's been no follow-through at this stage or no major follow-through, we haven't had anything to reset these trends after that big spike up and then movement down. It's kind of killed a lot of the charts, nearly all of them to be absolutely precise. There's nothing through here that's of interest to me. Kin, another one here. Look, this is another trend that's been going really well to the downside that potentially had an opportunity for a short there. But what I will point out once again, the reason I didn't take that is because, of course, look how thin this market is. Very, very patchy volume, which means, again, that increased risk is something that I wasn't willing to partake in yesterday, and I'm glad that I didn't. Even though it did move, it would have been a very, very good profit. I mean, let's just show you something. This is the beauty of being able to short a market. And whilst I've said that I wouldn't take this anyway because of how thin the market is, it's just an example of being able to make money in a bear market. That there, to the low where it is now with your entry and stop, that would be 8-1. If you risk $100 on that position, if you didn't scale out, that means you would be sitting at $800 of profit right now. If you scaled it out, you'd be sitting at 4.5% or $450, and you would not have that additional risk of carrying a full position. That's the way that I teach to trade, because that's the way that I tend to trade. Kyber had a beautiful pullback into here again. The only thing with Kyber, what time was that? 2 o'clock. The only thing with Kyber is it really lacked a trend. It just went straight down, then pulled back. You know, there wasn't much really to work with. You look at the 8, it's just a straight line. So, you know, you need to have 2 trends. If you're going to trade off of the 4 hour as your trigger chart, you need the 8 hour also to be agreeing with trend based on the rules. And we just didn't have the trend. So that didn't even feature yesterday. Kusama, not much there again. Still needing to take that next leg down. If it's going to do that, get it over and done with so we can get back to work. Kilo Open Dow. It's definitely support through there, but again, it's not going to make the list for me just yet. It needs to do more than that. Actually, one more thing to check. Oh, yeah. That daily candle is still a bit too large for me. Leo, wowzers. That doesn't move that much very often, but it did yesterday. Very thinly traded market, not a market I tend to trade. Lena, another one sideways. Link, another one sideways. Looks, stuck in a consolidation. Loopring, nothing there. Again, we need to take out these lows. We need this market to leg its way down. Then the next pullback could be the one where we get opportunity to get short again. And am I happy to continue to be shorting? Absolutely. That's where the momentum is at the moment. We've got a lot of uncertainty out there in all markets. Uncertainty leads to selling pressure. Selling pressure leads to downside. Downside means we short. We just have to time it well. Terra with the lower high. Again, need to take out those lows before I've got any interest there at all. Decentraland also not doing a great deal there that I can work with. Maps down again after a very, very strong run up. Sad to see that happen so abruptly, but it does happen very, very frequently. Matic is coming out of my list today, given that we go high to low once again. MCB, very, very thinly traded, as you can see there on that 15-minute chart. That is what a thinly traded market looks like. And that's a sort of market where you're more likely to get bad slippage and cost you more. So stay away from it. Same here with Mercurial. Make your business name so I can read it, please. Or maybe I should just be better at reading. Mid-perp, again, not much to work with. M&A, Mina, not much to work with. Maker. All right, let's have a look here. Not the greatest on the old 4 hour. I'm just seeing if there's any... Yeah, it's not ideal. Drop that in. It's not the greatest of level to start off with. It would have to come back down, retest, bounce off, come back, retest, and hold to get us convergent. There's just too much work to do. I'll leave it in as a reference point for the time being, but as far as anything else goes, it's going to have to do a lot more to impress me. Mango, another one with a bearish candle that's fallen. The momentum to the downside has been exquisite for Mango of late, but again, quite thinly traded, so losing my interest. Wow, that's a bit of a sad story too. How far has that come back? And this again, ladies and gentlemen, is why we take profits. 63% over the space of what? 1 week. Ouch. I'm sorry for anyone holding that right now. However, what have we got here? We got a nice downtrend. I think it's quite thin. No, it doesn't look too bad actually. Okay. Look at that, beautiful. I mean, that's a cradle right there. Cradle right there, really good move. Look, in all honesty, over the next couple of days, if we do see a pullback into this level, I'm going to be pretty keen on that because it does have some liquidity that I can actually get involved by the look of it. But a pull back into here for a short, yeah, you betcha. It's definitely on the slide. There's no doubt about that. And it was on the slide prior as well. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, see if I can't get a sneaky little trade on over the weekend perhaps, or later tonight. Meta, nothing of interest there for me. Metal, the same. The digital asset 10, no trend. I'm going to leave it. Same with the 25. NEO, again, high to low. Not interesting to me. NEO, I can leave. OKB, lower high, lower low, but nothing really to work with. OMG, sitting on that support, but is it a tradable level? I'm not seeing it as such right now. It's got to come back in and test. I mean, there could be an opportunity later, but I do want to see it come back into that level. I'm going to leave it for the time being and let it do its thing. One is sideways. Ontology, no trend. Orbs, very thinly traded market and no real trend there. Oxygen, very thin. I'll leave that alone. Gold, banging around, not doing a great deal after getting a real close crack on for 2,000 yet again. As a matter of fact, I think it did. $1,999.70. Very, very close. Onto Constitution Dow. Again, no trend. Perp, a very good trend. Let's have a look at that. This is the sort of thing I'm looking for, right? Markets that have set new lows. You know, we've got a lower high, bearish candle in the cradle. It wasn't tradable at that stage. We are now convergent. Another pullback into that cradle zone could produce opportunity. It could also be maybe the 8. Nah, it's definitely the 4 for me. Definitely the 4 I like, but it's a good trend, and I'll keep an eye on it. Polis, no trend. PrivPerp, no trend. Prometheus, not a good enough trend and very thinly traded. Pundi, I can leave. Qtum, no trend again. Ramp, no trend. Ray, not much of a trend. Oh, no trend because it goes high to low. Reef, nothing much to work with there. Ren, no trend. No trend on Render. Ron. G'day, Ron. Well, you can look at this on the daily. Big decline. The 8 hour is trending quite well. How thin is this? Ooh. I'd say from my standpoint, it's a little bit too thin for me. I'll leave that. Rook, I'm leaving that alone. Rose, no trend. RSR, no trend. Rune, no trend. Sand in the same kettle of fish. Now, I'm going through these and saying no trend because, look, I could talk about these charts, but there's really no point in wasting oxygen on things that are there's just nothing there, you know, and it's a repeat, the same, and you'll find that once you've learned how to trade, once you've learned how to do your scans, and once you've learned how to look for your own trades and use your watch lists and your checklists, trading actually doesn't need to take up too much of your time. You know, it's about understanding what to do and when and how to do it. They're the things that we teach. It's as simple as that. So it does allow you at times to just go, like today, for example, Friday, it's a beautiful sunny day out there. As I'm seeing the market right now, I'm not seeing anything that's going to be setting up in the next couple of hours or so. So what would I do? Well, because I know what I know, because I do what I do, and I know my trading windows, well, there's no need for me after doing this scan to really do too much for a little while because there's not a great deal that needs to be done. Sure, you can sit here and stare at charts all day long if you want to, or you can know when to hold them, when to fold them, so to speak. Sometimes staying out is the best option. And with so many of these markets needing another leg down and not having it just yet, there's not a great deal there for us today, at this stage anyway. I'll check that 8. It's got to move more again. It's just got to step out better. Tron, up 19, down 13, up 6, just banging around everywhere with a lot of volatility, not really giving us small enough candles to really work with. Again, volatility can be great when you're in the position, and obviously the volatility is in the direction for which you're trading. But when we've got too much of it, the candles are too big, it's a little bit too unpredictable. I much prefer a nice bouncing ball trending market, whether it be up or whether it be down. I mean, look at Uniswap. What are you going to do with that? You're in a complete range and have been for the last few weeks. You know, since back, middle of April or early April, we've been stuck in a range. That is not a chart that is going to be easy for me to trade the way that I trade. So what do? I just leave it. Waves, right. Big day. Is it a big? Yeah, it's a big candle there again. Unfortunately, had a 30% increase. Again, another stark reminder of why it's so important, guys, to take your profits. Over a period of a couple of months, it's now down 78%. Got to take those profits. Got to know where. Got to know how. Got to have a plan. Seen so many people make millions of dollars to give it all back. It's sad to see. It's sad to see, especially when I know that there's something there that we've created that's absolutely free that would actually help people. But people tend to just want to get rich quick. And even when they do make a bunch of money, they don't know what to do with it. They don't know when to get out. They don't know how to profit and take it. Free course, TRADERCOBB.com. It's so simple. That will teach you so much. Go and do it. It's like I said, it's free. I got nothing to gain out of that. Just enjoy it and learn, Been doing this for nearly 18 years now. 17, something like that. 17? Whatever it is. What are we? Yes, I think 17 years. Good downtrend here on DeFi money. Not a huge fan of the 2. Wouldn't mind the 4 if it came back in nice and clean. I'm going to put that in the list. Yearn Finance doesn't look very nice. Zcash, nothing there. Zilliqa, no trend. We had a huge day a couple of days ago, nearly 40%, followed by down 16%. ZRX is sideways. We go back to Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and have a look at what we do have in this blue list. Interestingly, the first in the list after all the carnage is a potential long, and it's on anchor on the 2 hour, a pullback into $2 and a small bullish candle. Very simple play. On to cream, we now go ahead and have a look at this level. If it can build into that level, as it's done the right thing so far, a little bounce here for a little lower high, that could be a breakout. If you don't know what the breakout is, then it could be a booster on a pullback. If you don't know what the booster is, you're going to need to wait for it to break down, pull back in for a cradle. Flat levels offer opportunity across many of the strategies. Very similar here on Civic with this flat level forming. I'm going to be watching to see if we do continue to have lower highs coming into here and if we do get convergent. ENS. What was I looking at here? Oh, that's right. There it is, the daily. So this will be tomorrow. If that ends up being small and bullish, Ethereum name service perpetual contract here on FTX will potentially give us a long position. I'm going to have to wait a long time, as you see, 19 hours and 22 minutes, but I'm going to leave it in there. MOB has been getting absolutely hammered. Very simple play here. Just going to be patient. Wait and see if it pulls back into the cradle zone. If it's got enough liquidity, yeah, sure, I'll give it a crack. Perp, another one. It's got a long way to go to get back in, but I want that little candle right over here, and then I'll look for a short on perpetual. And finally on the list is DeFi money, a pullback into the cradle for a short. As you can see across the board, the markets are weak. We are seeing some pretty wild volatility out there, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, just be cautious, be careful. If you haven't got your trading account set up with FTX, please use the link in the description below. It will give you 10% off of your trading fees. And also, I've said it a couple of times now, but that free course is going to help you out in a big way to understand, even if it's just to help you to take profits when you do get a runner. Something so small can mean so much, and it's absolutely free for you at TRADERCOBB.com. All the details in the links below in the description. Have yourself a fantastic week, and I think I'll be starting Monday doing this scan, as I like to start the week with a bit of a weekly look at the market that has been the week before and set us up for a trading week. So I'll be back here on Monday. I'll speak to you then. Have a fantastic day. Please do like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Have a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Bye for now.